Okay, so it seems like there's been a little bit of a situation going on recently with a VTuber called Haachama, or otherwise known as Akai Haato, who was part of Gen 1, or is still a part of Gen 1 of Hololive, and yeah, has been concerning a lot of her fans recently with a recent stream that has come out. And well, there's been a lot of controversy over it because many people are trying to kind of call for one thing and many people are trying to call for another. Now, the overwhelming response to this obviously has been support. I mean, you just search Haachama on kind of Twitter, right? And there's been a lot of support, including obviously a lot of people saying, you know, at last moment, saying we love you, Haachama, hopefully you're okay. There are bad times, there are sad times, and all kinds of people too that can hurt you. And obviously, yeah, this has been a pretty sad moment. And there's also been some posts like this, which a lot of people have not been liking too much with some of these summaries. Now, some of the summary is pretty accurate, but also some of it, compared to what other people are saying, aren't super accurate, and they've been facing a ton of hate. Now, I do think that a lot of people hating on these people for kind of, you know, pointing out some of the flaws maybe to do with Hololive and stuff, because again, surprise, surprise, there are some flaws within Hololive. Doesn't mean they're a bad company, but again, it does mean that they have stuff that they need to improve on, right? Obviously, there's been many people that have been attacking it for that, but also I can understand why there's a lot of people that have been saying, hey, there's a bit of like misinformation. For example, like the first one saying streamed with no gloves on, this is very against their rules. Apparently it's not very against their rules. So again, I think that many people have kind of misunderstood it, and also it misunderstands it in a different kind of way compared to like this video here, which came out discussing exactly what went down on the stream, because the stream is now deleted, by the way. It's no longer up, and yeah, Cover are now deleting and removing all kinds of clips and stuff that have come from that, and I think honestly that's okay. I think at the end of the day it's fine for them to delete them due to the fact of, I think it was a bit of a vulnerable kind of slip up, but it obviously does cause some concerns for fans, and obviously that's why I'm not going to be kind of revealing any kind of clips here, apart from obviously the screenshots that appear in this video, right? Essentially discussing what went down on the stream, because obviously many people are confused at exactly what went on, and I want to kind of give you guys the right information rather than obviously some of these posts which maybe make it seem, you know, like a absolutely dire situation. Now, it does seem very, very bad. It does seem like Haachama does genuinely need some help. You know, whether, you know, Hololive can provide that, I don't know. But let's just get into this, and then obviously we'll talk about it. So obviously, say today she had a stream where she was building Lego of Mount Fuji with her new webcam. She said everything was normal, the usual Hacha stream, you know, talking and chatting. However, some time passes and Haachama notices that there's a not very nice comment. This took to her attention as the stream spirals in a rather sad direction. So obviously, first of all, this is something that many people have kind of pointed out. This all stemmed from some kind of mean comments, apparently, that are apparently appearing in chat. Now, compared to this post obviously makes it seem like it's very out of the blue, you know? It seems like she just went live and started doing it. Which I just don't think is the case compared to this. It seems like she started off her stream as normal, making a Lego piece or whatever, which I'm assuming she's allowed to do, and then she saw a, you know, not very nice comment, and that then eventually led her to spiral into a more sadder state, which obviously is still terrible, but it's a little bit of a different version of events which have gone on. And then she obviously goes on to, you know, start crying, and chat's trying to comfort her. So then she starts to write stuff to calm down, and everyone was sending a very you know, kind messages to cheer her up, and then we go on, and it continues saying, although there is some bad apples, it's clearly feasting on her emotion and trolling in chat. Some even criticize her English and make her more frustrated, so she writes this for the haters. And that is obviously the message there. Don't waste our time. If I tell something in English, you guys always spell is wrong. But you said is wrong. Just wake up, live in the real. So yeah, obviously that's what she said there. And then after that, she started talking about her childhood drama and a lot of bad stuff that happened to her. And obviously they claim in this one that obviously her dad was saying stuff about, you know, like some divorces and things, which obviously is some very personal information. And obviously she shared that with her chat, which obviously, you know, I think that is one of the main reasons why this got deleted as well, because I think it did kind of spiral a little bit too much. Obviously, we won't go too much into that because I don't really want to, you know, put that out there. And then obviously Fubuki came into chat and decided to try to cheer her up and managed to cheer her up, and she went to make some tea to go and calm down. And yeah, obviously you can see there says, Chama, what are you making? Are you making the one on the top left? I said, what's going on? Normal is hard. So again, obviously doing a very good job there, obviously cheering her up, which is great to see. She then fell asleep on stream after an 8-hour stream. I assume main channel held the stream for her. So yeah, obviously it seems like that was essentially what was going on. Obviously, people saying Haachama is not in a very good state of mind right now, so I want to make this so everyone can go and give her some love. And knowing her as the strongest idol, I'm sure she can work this out. Thousands of love to our big red heart. And I think that is the main message that is coming from this, right? It's not a case of hatred or anything like that. It's more so just making sure that Haachama is okay. Now, obviously, there's been many claims of Hololive not being so good with kind of support and things in terms of this kind of stuff, which is coming from obviously 2 accounts here, saying that she can make how she can make friends at the hospital but not a cover. So she's got family matters, childhood trauma, manager complaints, obviously some Shion rumors regarding Yagu granting her sponsorships due to her not attending school, which obviously is very interesting. And obviously it was part of that little I guess sad rant that she was going on over on stream. I don't really want to call rant, like speech or whatever you want to call it, right? Which was going on over at stream, and that has a lot of people concerned, and I think it's very obvious why that is concerned. Now, obviously, a lot of people have been saying, like, what's concerning is everyone that's quote retweeting and stuff is trying to suppress and censor what is happening, which again, I don't think is the right move. I think obviously people should be aware that Haachama is not in the best of spaces right now in mindsets and stuff. But you know, also at the same time, you know, people are saying that stream was a cry for help, and everyone's trying to sweep it under the rug, which is, you know, partially true. But obviously now we have the extra context of how the stream started. It wasn't an out of the blue stream where she just went on to vent to people. It was caused by a sad chatter, which obviously not sad chatter, a kind of angry chatter or whatever. It's obviously still sad, and it obviously still showcases the fact that maybe she's not in the best minds right now, because, you know, a lot of the time streamers will just ignore those comments, but usually whenever a streamer isn't, you know, doing the best, you know, sometimes they take that a little bit more to heart, which is okay, and that sometimes happens. So again, obviously that is the kind of main context behind it. I don't know if they know that, but again, it does still show that they are not in the best of minds. I don't think she went into that stream with the intention of being like, I need to you know, cry for help here. I think it was more so of a situation where she obviously ended up spiraling, and it revealed quite a lot about, you know, her personal life and stuff like that, and stuff going on behind her Hololive, and now it's caused obviously what is going on. But again, obviously a lot of the, you know, there's been a lot of support. You know, you can see Arima's covering it right now. You know, the same, we love you, Haachama. You know, you'll be okay. Obviously many people kind of just supporting her, saying please support Haachama the best you can. My Kamiyoshi has been so strong and deserves the world. And again, I do think obviously, well, we got some older tweets there too, but yeah, people saying not to put one on blast, so I'm blanking out their name, but saying this during this Haachama stream is downright disgusting. Obviously, yeah, they're saying legendary stream. Obviously, I'm guessing this is during her crying and speaking out about stuff, but again, I do think, you know, a lot of people have been very, very concerned. You know, obviously a lot of people as well saying, people need to understand that Haachama joined Hololive as a Gen 1 JP talent while still studying. She joined in 2018 when overseas fans only had Kizna Eye. She also went to Australia to further her education, and she suffered the Taiwan incident aftermath with Coco. My ass at her age can only attend university, and that alone is already stressful enough. Now imagine her balancing studying and being an idol for a massive agency for 7 years. If anyone deserves a break, physically and mentally, it's her. Also, don't be an inconsiderate ass. It says, she's underage back then. Part of me thinks the cover should have waited a few years. It says, to be honest, no one expected the Taiwan incident to happen, and when it did, yeah, it happened to the wrong person. And said, oh man, I hope Fubuki can talk to her. Haachama is my first holo, which obviously, yeah, I think obviously Fubuki is aware of what is going on, so hopefully she can kind of point her in the right direction and help her out here, because obviously a lot of people are very concerned for how she is doing, and also you know, how Hololive and Cover are kind of dealing with it, right? But I think with the support of our friends and stuff, I'm hoping that maybe they can come to some kind of resolution and maybe try to get us some help or something, because it doesn't seem like she's in the best of minds. And mainly what this video is to kind of keep you in the know of what is going on, because obviously there's been a lot of people talking about it, but also just to go and support Haachama right now, because it seems like, yeah, as I said, she's not going through the best of times. There's a lot of people kind of inflating a lot of what is going on, compared to what has really went down on the stream. So again, many people have been talking about it. And yeah, it's very understandable after everything that she's went through with the Taiwan stuff and, many other things too, school, all of that, everything, the pressure of being an idol. It can be hard. And, obviously some people, crack sometimes, and that's okay. So yeah, obviously go and support her. I'll leave a link down to one of her socials so you guys can go and do that if you guys aren't already supporting her. I mean, if you're not, what are you doing? But again, I think a lot of people have been kind of sending support, and hopefully it can stay like that. And obviously I do agree with the sentiment that people should not be censoring or hiding what kind of Hololive have been doing in terms of supporting and stuff, and in terms of their involvement or uninvolvement with a lot of their talents, right? I think that should also be heavily talked about. But obviously let's keep it much more to the topic of the stream and what she was talking about, because obviously, yeah, there's been a lot of people mad about this post right here, and I do understand that many people do get angry whenever Hololive get talked about negatively, which I think obviously is a little bit crazy, but at the same time as well, let's just make the information right. Let's get it all good. Obviously there's been very, very mixed opinions about this single summary post here, so that's why I didn't try to go into it too much, because a lot of this stuff in here is crazy, and also it misses out the added context that this was during a stream, and people wanted to delete this, so are some of this not true, which again I think is one of the big things that people are saying. And obviously, you've got this guy linking the video that we just watched. Please don't spread any of this information. It's all plain lies. Make up things and other stuff for the drama bait. Do the good thing and spread your concern and love for Haachama instead, like other good clippers, which is what a lot of people are saying. And obviously people say, oh, did this not happen during the stream? And from the look at some of the transcripts of everything, it doesn't seem like some of the stuff is going on. It seems like there's kind of half-truths going on in the summary, which is why obviously I feel like this one is a little bit better at kind of breaking it down, and it seems like they do just want to spread some support and love for Haachama at the moment, which hopefully that can be the case. Again, I also wanted to just clarify that this is a very kind of murky situation too. I just kind of thought I wanted to add this on here after like kind of thinking about it for a couple of minutes after recording. And essentially, yeah, like there's been so many different kind of opinions and stuff floating around, and honestly I think you are fine to feel whatever you want about this situation, but yeah, like there's been many people that have been very like pro on the Hololive side. For example, people saying like a lot of the taking down of the stream, taking down the clips and stuff is a good thing, because obviously it doesn't help it does help her case, because it means that she might not get terminated and things, because many people are speculating she might get terminated for saying too much. And I think that obviously puts a little bit more validity on the summary that we just saw. Obviously, I know I was pretty against it in it, but obviously there is a couple of things that maybe could have been added to make it seem a little bit I guess more truthful. But to be honest, I think there was a lot of things in there which was mentioned that a lot of people have been saying are true and happened during the stream. And yeah, I think many people are more worried about the consequences of what has been said. And I think that's also why a lot of people have been telling people to take it down, because they don't like the fact that this is being spread around, and so that Hololive can actually see that. So again, obviously, I do go pretty hard. I don't go pretty hard on that summary. To be fair, I do say there is some truth in it, but I do think it is much more truthful than it first kind of appears, mainly due to the fact of, a lot of people just not wanting it to be public information, what was really said over on that live stream, because it makes Hololive look bad, and also many people are worried that it's not going to help, Haachama's kind of case whenever it comes to carrying on streaming on Hololive after a little slip up, so again, I just kind of wanted to add that bit of extra information there, just to make it very clear where I stand. To be honest, it is a very in the middle kind of stance, I will be real, because again, it is hard to know what is really going on, and what a lot of people are saying, because there's a lot of misinformation that goes around all the time, And when a lot of situations like this drops, people do come out of the corners of the internet because, for example, them talking about like aunties and stuff that do not like Hololive and things like that and want her to get terminated will spread it more to obviously, get her kind of removed, which will obviously be their ultimate goal, where some people are doing it for much more kind of less nefarious reasons. They just want to spread the fact that, obviously there is a big issue going on and that she needs to be supported during this time, which obviously many people kind of assume that they are part of this group that are also spreading like anti kind of behavior, which I think was a lot of the sentiment going towards the person who made the summary earlier in this video. So again, just wanted to kind of clear that up because it is a very kind of all over the place situation right now. So no matter what side you're on, obviously, just keep looking at the information that comes out because, again, I don't really know what to tell you here. It's a pretty tricky one, and there is going to be a lot of antis spreading a lot of stuff that will not be true, and or maybe trying to purposely spread it and kind of exaggerate it even further to make the situation sound even worse when it might not actually be. So again, as I said, just kind of wanted to add that bit in there. But yeah, that is essentially all there is to the situation. Again, I just kind of wanted to spread some support. And as I said, go and follow Haachama, go and give her support on her next stream. And hopefully that will be soon or not soon, depending on, what is best for her. Again, she can do whatever she likes to do. But yeah, that's what I got. I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.